Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Good day and welcome to Fusion Mobile e-learning class. My name is Fayemi Kende and this is English language. Today we are still on grammatical structures, and under grammatical structures we have the lexical part of speech, the verb. Previously we had a class on verbs, but we did not conclude that class, so we are going to be discussing more on verbs today. And what we are going to be taking a look at is the lexical verbs, the finite and non-finite verb, the transitive and intransitive verb, as well as the phrasal verbs. What do we mean by a lexical verb? A lexical verb conveys an independent meaning. Sometimes they are called predicators. They stand on their own in sentences, hence they can be called main verbs. Some lexical verbs take the S or ES, the S or ES inflections when used with the third person singular pronoun and singular nouns. For example, it crawls on the ground. The addition of S to the verb crawl shows the inflection and the plural form of the third person, the singular form of the third person. He goes to work every day. The addition of ES to the verb go shows the singular form of the third person pronoun. She sings very beautifully also reflects the singular noun or pronoun of she. Used with other pronouns other than third person singular pronoun, or used with plural noun. Lexical verbs need no S or ES inflections. Examples are: I sleep whenever I am tired. We go once every week. You think like an idiot. John and his brother fight every day. You cannot say John and his brother fights every day. That is wrong. Neither can you say you think like an idiot. Now let us take a look at the finite and the non-finite verb. What do we mean by a finite verb? Lexical verbs in the base form, that is the present tense, and the third person form or the past form are said to be finite. Take for example, the word do is in its base form, the present form. When it becomes does, it is the third person singular pronoun, singular verb. It is reflecting the verb of a pronoun rather. And when we see did, this is showing the past tense. Do shows the base form. Does shows the third person form, and did shows the past tense. Now this, whenever we come across verbs like this, that show the third person, the base form, and the past tense, they are called finite verb. Again, lexical verbs are said to be finite when they are used alone in the verb element of the subject where they occur. Therefore, finite verbs cannot go with auxiliary verbs, especially the non-modal auxiliary verbs such as am, is, are, were, be, being, has, have, had, having, are, etc. In summary, therefore, it is grammatically wrong to use a non-modal auxiliary verb with a finite verb. A finite verb can as well be said to be a verb that can stand on its own, that is a lexical verb, an independent verb, a verb that can convey a whole meaning in the sentence where it is used. Example of such verbs are: he has a big bucket, or Uche has a big bucket. We have a house. She sings beautifully. We must take note that when there is agreement between the verb and its object in terms of number and person, such a verb is known as a finite verb. A verb that has an agreement between the verb and its subject in terms of number and person, such verb is known as a finite verb. Examples are the ones I just listed earlier. She sings beautifully. We have a house. Uche has a big bucket. The verb that complements the noun have agreement. A singular noun goes with the singular verb. Where we have a plural noun or a plural pronoun, we have a plural verb that complements it. Like, we have a house. It's a plural pronoun, and therefore the verb that comes with it has to be in the plural form as well. The finite verb and tenses. Finite verbs show tenses. Like I said earlier, I said in the form of do, which is present form, and did, the past form, and also the third person inflection. Let us examine the following examples. Benjamin plays music. He is playing music. He plays music. She is dancing happily. We drink some water. It runs so fast. These are present form sentences in their present form. And the other one says, she sang a song. He traveled yesterday. She was laughing when I passed. The verbs in this sentence are in their past form, their past tense form. These are examples of finite verbs, verbs that show tenses, verbs that show the third person inflections. Now let us take a look at the non-finite verb. A lexical verb in its ing continuous, the ed participle, or the to plus infinitive. Is known as a non-finite verb and cannot be used alone. In most cases, a non-modal auxiliary verb and a finite lexical verb are used to operate the to infinitive verb. For example of this, an example of this is as to do. Are to do. We have wanted to do. These non-modal auxiliary verbs that precedes the to plus infinitive verbs are the kind of auxiliary verbs that go along with the to do infinitive verbs for it to make all sense in a sentence. Note that non-finite verbs may end with the to infinitive, the ing or the ed or en, etc. Yes, yet they neither show tense nor show agreement with the subject of the sentence. Example is, Emeka wants to eat. Emeka wants to eat. In the above example here, Emeka wants to eat. The to eat that ends the sentence there does not have an agreement with the subject of the sentence. The main verb there is wants. and it is the one that has to have an agreement with the main subject of the sentence. Another example is the robber was executed. The robber was executed. Executed, the verb that, I'll take that again. The robber has been executed. This has been executed is an example of the to plus infinitive. It's an example of the to plus infinitive kind of the non-finite verb. The main verb that has to have an agreement with the subject is has. The robber has been executed. Other examples include we have been duped. We have been duped. Being duped does not have an agreement with the main subject, which is we, the pronoun, the third person pronoun we. The word in notes that non-finite verbs may end with to infinitive ing. We said that earlier. So we take note of these examples and the rules that govern the use of the finite and the non-finite verb. A few questions are going to pop up on the screen for you to examine and for you to attempt. I implore you that you attempt these questions and you get them correctly. However, if you have any difficulty in answering these questions, please go back and review the video once again. Welcome back. The next subtopic we are going to be treating is the transitive and the intransitive verb. A transitive verb is one that has a direct object, whether expressed or implied. It admits or allows an object which directly follows it. On the other hand, an intransitive verb has no object. That is, it does not allow any object after it. The following examples illustrate a transitive verb. He plays the game. The game is the direct object of the verb plays. We sang a song. A song is the direct object of sang. I have a beautiful radio. A beautiful radio is the direct object of have. Examples of intransitive verb are Obi has eaten. The man died. Babies always smile. The little boy tripped and fell. He sang beautifully. These verbs do not take objects after them. Let us take further examples on the transitive and intransitive verb. In a given sentence where we have in the following sentences, let us examine them. We have, he wrote a letter. She eats rice. And he wrote, she eats. We should take note that the first sentence here has an object that follows the verb wrote. Same goes with this, she eats rice. Rice is the object of the verb, which makes both sentences transitive. I mean the two verbs in the two sentences are transitive verbs. because they have direct objects following them. However, the other two examples do not carry objects following them, which makes them intransitive verbs. In order to learn more about transitive and intransitive verbs, we just have to study more, read wide and far. A few questions are now going to pop up on your screen for you to examine and attempt. If you have any difficulty in answering these questions, please rewind the video and take a look at it again in order to update yourself. Welcome back. Now let us take a look at phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs is simply formed by joining an adverb or preposition with a lexical verb. Phrasal verbs can serve as idiomatic expressions, hence they are idioms. This is because they do not have literal or ordinary meaning, but figurative meaning. Here are some examples of phrasal verbs. Phrasal verb aim at. It means make an effort towards something or somebody. To back down means to admit that one is wrong. To back out means to fail to fulfill a promise. To cash in on means to exploit something or use something to one's advantage. To clamp down means to become more strict or tough in order to enforce a law. Come through means to become what is expected or to continue to live after something dangerous. To drum into means to put an idea firmly into someone's mind. Fall through means to fail to be completed. Fend off means to push away or act to avoid. We have get through, which means to succeed or to reach someone by telephone. To give away means to make someone a present or to deliver a wife to a husband officially, or to travel or to reveal a secret, that is to give away. We have to long for. Longing for means to want something very much. We have lose out. Lose out means to make a loss or to be defeated in an unlucky way. Nose out means to discover something by close searching. Pass away means for someone to die. Pin down means to prevent from moving. Now, the list can go on and on and on and probably endless. But the only way for you to know about phrasal verbs, their meaning and their uses in sentences, you just have to go back home, read wide, read far. It is the only way to knowing how vast phrasal verbs can be and their uses as well. So a few questions are going to pop up on your screen now for you to examine. I advise and encourage you to attempt these questions. However, if you have difficulty in answering these questions, please rewind the video back and take a review of it in order to update yourself.